On this week's show, Jeff Johnston takes out a new Gulfstream vintage cruiser for one of his real-life reviews. Later, we join John DiPietro at one of his favorite family RV destinations, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Then, Mark and Dawn Polk give us some RV cleaning tips that'll help keep your RV looking new. These stories and more on this week's Rollin On TV. Rollin On TV is brought to you by Carefree of Colorado, celebrating 45 years of RV awning innovation. Closed and Spanish captioning, where available, is sponsored by Jayco. At Jayco, we've been making family dreams come true since 1968.
Well, it's been great fun watching the rise in popularity of vintage trailers. For people who don't have the resources or skills or abilities, basically, to restore their own vintage trailer, there are other options available thanks to today's manufacturers, many of whom are coming up with vintage models, brand new trailers that look like vintage models. And one such new model is this good-looking guy, the Vintage Cruiser by Gulfstream. Gulfstream builds several vintage cruiser models in a number of different color schemes. The exteriors are designed to kind of harken back to that nostalgia for the old canned ham type trailers. The interior decor is likewise just a little bit different than what you'd find today. Well, more like what you would have found 20 or 30, maybe 40 years ago. And this one is the vintage Woody model that has the cool looking Woody trim on the side. You may not have a vintage type vehicle to be able to tow this with, but it's going to look pretty good behind an awful lot of today's tow rigs. Let's catch up with Gulfstream sales guy Brian Calderon for a bit of vintage cruiser inside scoop.
This is our vintage cruiser by Gulfstream. This featured lightweight of under 3,500 pounds. It's got a one-piece fiberglass roof. One-piece floor bonded with Luan back substrate. The sidewalls feature an exterior Asdale substrate, so there's no rot, no mildew that can happen on that. They're kind of a vintage 50s, 60s look. They make two different colors in this model. They make the crimson and cream and the blue and cream, turquoise and cream interior. They're solar ready. They have a solar hookup right on the side here. So these are fully self-contained for your convenience out in the campground.
In camp or on the road, the Gulfstream Vintage Cruiser makes a sharp-looking setup. Excellent aerodynamics and generally good weight balance help it tow with no hassles. You can enjoy the ride and relax as you drive with this trailer in tow. Overall compact size means it's a cinch to maneuver, for example, when you need to make a U-turn on a fairly tight road. Its modest length also means the Vintage Cruiser can fit in many campsites designed for the smaller RVs. The front of the Vintage Cruiser is built like many of the smaller trailers today. It includes a swoopy front profile, which both adds aerodynamics to help reduce your wind drag going through down the road, and it kind of also echoes the shape of the early canned ham models. Meanwhile, down here we have this great aluminum cladding which sort of protects the front end from rock chips and so on, and all the usual appointments here on the hitch. Well, there's not a lot of exterior storage in this trailer, but what's here is the right size. Up front, this is an across the trailer, basement style storage with these really cool slam shut paddle latch opening, and it has the contemporary magnetic catch. So it's easy to open. The space is good size, and it'll handle all of your long items like fishing poles and such, or the broom or whatever you need to have to store in this area. When it's time to close it, you don't have to mess around with that little latch up there like a lot of RVs have, and it's done. And this little television mount, which disconnects from the cabinet on the inside, has this little quick release plate on the back, and Gulfstream puts the quick release receptacle part of the plate on the side of the trailer. You slide it in there, And when you have a television mounted on this, of course, you can just bring it out and entertain yourself in camp when a fire isn't just quite enough. Something we're seeing as an option on trailers more and more often is this Zamp Solar Ready feature. It includes a handy little plug up here, and when you get the Zamp Solar portable solar panels, you plug them in up here, set the panels out in the sun, and you're charging your battery for when you're out dry camping. Something a little different cosmetically on the vintage cruiser. The molded plastic wheel well lip here is done in a kind of a wood grain that echoes the wood grain on the side of the trailer. Kind of a nice touch. And of course the white sidewalls, baby moon caps, and white steel wheels. When you're putting the cap on here, you got to be really careful with these caps because they're made in China. They're very thin metal, and you wind up with these little dents in it if you hit it a little bit too hard to try and put it on. Not like the old days of real authentic baby moon caps. The vintage cruiser is outfitted with all the latest equipment, in spite of being vintage style. Fiberglass body, LED lights throughout, including the running lights and these cool little backup lights. This aluminum tread metal, it's a little bit heavier duty and kind of helps protect the lower part of the body. And for those who really want to be able to be safe when they're backing, there's an additional, this is like an optional bracket for mounting a backup camera, which once you've used a backup camera in another vehicle, boy, you really get kind of spoiled by them. It's not a bad option to have. We'll continue our look at the vintage cruiser right after these commercial messages, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Simply put, Thetford's Aquachem has outsold all its competitors combined because it's the strongest holding tank deodorant available. It provides the strongest odor control around the clock in all temperatures and conditions. It quickly liquefies waste and tissue and is 100% biodegradable. Aquachem, the industry standard for 50 years. For more information, visit Thetford.com. Aquachem, another great product from Thetford.
We didn't make the majestic mountains, or the rugged terrain, or paint the night sky, but we make it possible to see it all. Road Trek, America's #1 selling touring coach for over 25 years. Built with quality so you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the destinations you want. Enjoy the peace of mind that only a Road Trek can provide.
Welcome back to Rollin On TV. Let's continue our tour of the Gulfstream Vintage Cruiser trailer, a lightweight with retro appeal. Well, the exterior of the Vintage Cruiser is really a cool looking vehicle. Definitely not yesterday's RV. A few days beyond yesterday, maybe. And what's on the inside is a little bit different too. Let's take a look. Now this is a very popular floor plan in smaller trailers like this because you get a lot of features into a relatively small space. Standard forward queen type bed, side dinette on the curb side, kitchen unit and refrigerator is over there on the street side, and then the bathroom covers the back of the rig. The generous sized bathroom includes a big open floor space with retro decor, a large shower stall, and practical storage cabinets. Up here you have a terrific comfortable bed. We slept on it just fine. These handy little overhead lights, which start out with blue, kind of a nightlight effect, so you can climb in and out of the bed without disturbing your partner in the middle of the night. And you hit it again, and it becomes a reading light. Of course, it's LED, very convenient. The vintage cruiser decor, of course, carries right through with the decor of the rest of the unit. And you have privacy curtain that stretches all the way across to isolate the front of the coach from the back in case you have other guests here. Plenty of overhead storage, side storage, and little handy cabinet holders here for your necessities as well. This, you can see by the curve of the roof, the roof is starting to come down here, but I'm 6'6", and I'm able to fit in here even at the reduced part. In the middle of the unit, there is all kinds of headroom, so it feels really roomy in here, and that's kind of nice in a smaller trailer. The kitchen is small, but it's surprisingly accommodating for a compact trailer like this. Has all your usual features. A couple of really nice plastic sink bowls with this high-rise residential style faucet, a little wobbly, but details. Plenty of storage space throughout, overhead of course, and then underneath you have space for large items like our handy Coleman coffee maker. Never go camping without it. And you got your Atwood stove, 3-burner with spark ignition, which is really handy. That makes it pretty easy to get it started. Greystone microwave oven, which, once in a while a microwave isn't bad when we're camping. Normally we heat things up out on the fire, but, the microwave does the trick for morning coffee too. And just immediately behind the kitchen counter, there is a storage cabinet, and it has a nice flat surface on top. And the surface is immediately adjacent to the refrigerator. That's very handy because when you're either loading things into the refrigerator or taking them out, you got that surface as kind of a staging area of sorts. And directly above that flat surface is the television mount that we already looked at outside. And that mount can be used then to viewing the TV from down here in the dinette. All things considered, including lots of overhead lights, and most of this rig is equipped with LED lights. There are a couple of incandescents, but the LEDs are nice because they don't get very hot at all, and they also don't draw much current. So if you're dry camping or boondocking, that's terrific to save energy on the battery. So all things considered, kind of a nice design, and we really like this knotty pine woodwork as well. It sort of harkens back to the earlier days of RV design or home building for that matter. The dinette, pretty darn comfortable. The upholstered seats here feel really good, and there's plenty of room for a full dimension adult, so to speak. And we really like these curtains that sort of harken back to the vintage sort of look, as does the stitched upholstery, the not exactly tuck and roll, but the vinyl looks sort of like what you would expect in an older car of this vintage. The dinette, of course, table drops down to set up into a nice compact bed for somebody, a couple of kids or a smaller adult. Underneath, there's a little bit of a storage compartment on this side. Lots of storage under that front seat for all kinds of those things that you don't have to get access to every day. And generally speaking, it's a pretty nice arrangement. And there's, of course, a good-sized window here for you, so you can enjoy the view outside when you're parked in a beautiful spot. The spirit of RVing is far more than just the hardware. During our road test, we met some new friends from Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine on their first U.S. trip in a rental RV. We shared some ethnic snacks and drink at the picnic table and enjoyed some good conversation and song by the campfire. It's the simple pleasures and the fine people you meet who help make RVing so worthwhile. For more information about the Vintage Cruiser trailer, log on to our website at rollinontv.com.
Coming up after the break, we'll catch up with John DiPietro at the Ocean Lakes Family Campground. Someone once said, the camping doesn't really start until the RV awning comes out. Whoever said that really knew what they were talking about. Carefree of Colorado, celebrating 45 years of RV awning innovation. For more information, visit our website at carefreeofcolorado.com.
Exploration. It affirms that we are alive, demands that we are present. So let's put our work lives on pause, ramble out into the world, and share the journey with the ones we love.
For more information, visit lancecamper.com.
Hi everybody, this is John DiPietro for Rollin On TV, and in this segment we visit beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We're staying at the great, fabulous, wonderful Ocean Lakes Family Campground, which is situated right on the Atlantic Ocean. Myrtle Beach is one city in an area called the Grand Strand, which stretches from north to south right on the Atlantic with over 40 miles of family-friendly beaches. Let's go see what's going on here at Ocean Lakes and the area immediately around us.
Ocean Lakes Family Campground does have a lot of water. We have 1 mile of oceanfront, and then we also have 5 large lakes that you can fish in. We have 859 campsites for RVs and tents. Most of our sites are average 45 feet long and 35 feet wide. We have some that are much larger, up to 80 feet long. You don't have to be a camper to enjoy this campground. You can rent a house that sleeps 6 to 22 guests, 5-6 bedrooms, 4 baths. The water park opened May 2016. It has 68,000 square feet of pool deck, 2 very large slides, a mat racer with 4 lanes, a tube slide with single and double riders, a huge adventure river, which 17,000 square feet of water. It'll take you about 15 minutes to coast around that. The sunrise service was a really important feature that we started many, many years ago. Mr. and Mrs. Jackson, our co-founders, believe in church. It's a big part of our campground. We have Sunday church service every week, and the sunrise service is a huge tradition with about 2,500 guests attending the 6:30 a.m. service. The golf cart is a huge part of Ocean Lakes culture, and it's not anything our team invented. It just kind of evolved over the years. And although Mr. Jackson, one of our founders, he loved the 4th of July golf cart parade, the guests were not happy with just that. So every evening around 7 o'clock along the Ocean Lakes front drive there on the beachfront, you will see hundreds of people line up with their golf cars and drive back and forth along that mile of oceanfront. High-fiving, cheering each other on, all ages. We have guards placed down there as this event took on its own life, and try and make sure that it stays family-friendly and kind. We have a great website, oceanlakes.com. Will tell you everything you need to know, and you can book reservations for campsites and search for our rentals as well. But we also have an avid Facebook page and other social media such as YouTube, and you can link right from our site. We also have a great blog. So between all those sources, you can know everything you need to know about Ocean Lakes.
After you've taken part in all the activities at the campground, one of the things that you may want to do is venture outside. There's so much to do here at Myrtle Beach, from great golf to legendary concert performances to great local restaurants and amusement parks. And if you want to be a big wheel, you can be a big wheel at the Sky Wheel at Myrtle Beach. Let's go outside and take a look.
While at Ocean Lakes, John caught up with Chris Allen, manager of the Ocean Lakes RV Center, and learned a few things about RV care along the Carolina coast.
Hi everybody, it's John DiPietro for Rollin On TV. I am in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and to be specific, I'm at Ocean Lake Family Campground. And to be even more specific than that, I'm at Ocean Lakes RV Center. I'm talking with Chris. And Chris, when you RV on the ocean, there are special precautions that you need to take to keep your RV safe and sound, right?
Yes, there are. The most important thing is when you go out to dinner at night or going for the afternoon for an attraction, always put your awning in, because you never know when a sudden storm may come up.
Right, because that can happen real quickly where there's nothing a few minutes before, nothing in the forecast, but that storm comes up, all of a sudden you find your awning 3 sites down.
That's correct, and then that's a surprise to come home to. And once you get there, obviously you're going to come and see someone like the RV Center here to have an awning replaced.
Right. So you can replace awnings, you can fix awnings and that type of thing, even for your people that are here, but even if you're not camping at Ocean Lakes, you'll still provide that service as well?
That's correct. We do all types of repairs, not only in Ocean Lakes, but all the other surrounding campgrounds.
And everybody knows, or everybody should know, that the salt is not your friend. It's good to put on your food, but not to have on your RV. What are some precautions that people should take actually when they get home if they've been camping on an ocean site?
Wash and wax. You got to stay on top of your product. Wash it repeatedly, wax it, keep a fresh coat of wax on it at all times.
Okay. So it's not just the metal components that we're talking about. You're talking about the clear coat as well, right?
That's correct. The aluminum siding trailers as well as the fiberglass.
Okay. And the big thing that people always do when they go out because they don't want to run the air conditioner is they keep the windows open. But again, ocean setting, a little bit different idea?
That's correct. I would suggest if you don't want the air conditioning running, just put it on fan mode. You don't want to leave the windows open because, once again, an unexpected storm could come up at any time.
Okay. There you go. Direct from the pros who've won many national awards. I saw it in their showcase a little bit earlier at Ocean Lakes RV Center here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So for Rollin On TV, it's John DiPietro and my good friend Chris saying, let's go camping. There are thousands of oceanfront campgrounds in Myrtle Beach, and for information on the major ones, go to campmyrtlebeach.com.
We'll be back with more of Rollin On TV right after these words.
At Jayco, we're a lot more than just an RV manufacturer. We're all about family, and we've been making family dreams come true since 1968. To see our complete product line and find your nearest Jayco dealer, visit us online at jayco.com or just log on to rollinontv.com. When you have a Truma AquaGo instant hot water system, you can expect to make a lot of new friends.
Hi, I'm Mark Polk with RV Education 101. When you're traveling and camping in your RV, the exterior of the RV gets dirty quickly. The key to keeping your exterior looking new is to clean it often. If you allow bugs, dirt, and black streaks to stay on the exterior surface too long, it can be very hard to remove. I like to thoroughly clean our RV after returning from a trip. Let's look at some RV exterior cleaning tips. Use a car wash soap that is compatible with the surface of the RV. Use a long-handled brush with soft bristles to reach the high spots, and use a wash glove or mitt for the easy-to-reach areas. When you use commercial cleaners like Black Streak Remover, always read the instructions for best cleaning results and to protect the RV's paint and graphics from possible damage. Rinse the area you plan to wash first. Always wash from the top down. When you're rinsing the soap from the surface, avoid spraying water in any of the appliance vents. You have probably heard lots of ideas for removing dead bugs from the front of your RV, but the best advice I can offer is to clean it as soon as possible and use lots of water on the front of the RV to help make the chore of removing bugs and road debris easier. I have had decent luck with bug and tar remover products too. Well, there you have it, a nice clean RV until you head out on another RV trip. Happy camping.
We hope you enjoyed this week's program. And for more information on anything you saw on the show, along with additional videos and stories from current and past shows, visit our website at rollinontv.com. You can also join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. As usual, this has been another fun production. For the latest up-to-the-minute RV news, visit our media partners at rvbusiness.com. If you're into RVing or just appreciate vintage vehicles, be sure to set your GPS for the RV MH Hall of Fame in Elkhart, Indiana. This museum houses the largest collection of vintage RVs and trailers dating as far back as 1916. For more information, visit their website at rvmhhalloffame.org.
Am I on?
Red dot on?
Yep. Okay. We're staying at the Ocean Lakes Family Campground right here on the water, and it's one of the most